Welcome. So excited to do another forecast with you. My name's Desiree De Lunae, and I am your acupuncturist and astrologer. And I am here to share with you the kinds of energies you're going to be interacting with for the week of June 17th until the 23rd. Look, you're here because you're an empath. And as an empath, it is important that we have awareness of what's influencing us because we are incredibly susceptible to the energies that surround us. And rather than, going through this blindly and wondering, why is this happening to me or why am I feeling this way? It's really nice to be validated that there are reasons why, that it isn't random, it isn't haphazard for your moods and your emotions to fluctuate so much. So, in the next week, we have a very active moon. The moon changes a few signs. The moon is just bouncing here and there and everywhere with all the other planets. So, let's kind of break down each of the days and what we can expect with the coming emotions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And do make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified when a new forecast is up, especially amongst other things. Okay, we're getting a little bit more active and busy here. All right. So let's take a look at some of the major things. There are some energies that are going to be influencing us for most of the week, and then there's some that are just going to be shifting and changing. Just so you know, the moon is right here. It's in Scorpio on this day. This changes signs every 2.5 to 3 days. And that means it's gonna be changing our feelings a lot. The moon represents our emotions. It represents our emotional body. It also is our physical body. If you think about it, it is the luminary that is closest to the earth out of everything. And the moon goes through so many fluctuations, like the tides, and it goes through so many phases and changing phases. And that's one of the reasons why, like, we could feel exhilarated and happy and thrilled and joyful and grateful one day, and then the next day just feel like we're completely down in the dumps. So, let's go ahead and break down each of the days so that you can plan accordingly, which, it helps you to plan like social events, for example. Okay, so Monday the 17th, we still have our bright sun over here in Gemini. It's going to be in Gemini just a little bit longer. In this week, it is going to transition into Cancer. So we still have, this is a really good season and cycle to be active in your mind, meaning learn something new, do some reading, do some writing, journaling is going to be very beneficial for you here, especially with, some of the other influences with Venus and Mercury. But I do recommend just communicating, expressing, just having these conversations, having more conversations in general. We also have Jupiter in Gemini, which Jupiter makes things bigger. It just expands things. So it's only going to add more to this active mind that we have. So use it well because we have some other influences we'll talk about in a second that are really helpful for us to do deep mental focus. So if you need brain power, this is a week where you have access to a lot of brain power so that you can sit down and get some really tough things done, or maybe like I was saying, learning something new. You're going to have the ability to really like take it in and absorb it. Okay, so that is our sun in Gemini. Just make sure you are learning, you are communicating, you are mingling, get some socializing in absolutely as well. All right, so let's talk about the moon real quick. So the moon is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a water sign. And so in Scorpio, there's going to be a lot of intensity here. So if you're feeling even more passionate, or really excited about something, that makes a lot of sense. But also at the same time, if you're having intense fluctuations in mood, just really high, really low, that it could be because moon is located right here, and it's going to be here for a little bit, for a couple of days. I do recommend on this day, let me see how long it is. I think it's in here for just a couple of days. Yeah, for Monday and Tuesday, moon's going to be in Scorpio. Water is going to be beneficial. I know it's very simple, but it's so profound and so effective. So running water, fast moving water, going near rushing water, like waterfalls or maybe a creek where the water's moving. One way to soothe yourself would be go on a walk near rushing water, taking a shower, of course. As simple as that, just taking a shower. Sometimes showers are like a spiritual experience. So it's very deeply cleansing and soothing and regulating of your emotional body. So that would be something that's very helpful too. All right, let's take a look here. We're going to have Venus and Mercury in Cancer the whole time for this next week. So this is a very nice influence. We have Venus, which is about relationships. As I mentioned, go socialize because you're going to really deepen your emotional bonds and deepen that connection with people that are close to you, people who feel like family to you. This is a good time to be around family, actually. Cancer is one of the more nurturing signs, whether it's by blood or whether it's our friends. The friends become like our family members. So make sure to schedule time this next week to have some lovely, intimate, moments together. Maybe it's a dinner or an outing of some kind. But please go meet your friends and family. And then you have Mercury, which is that planet of communication. So just that level of connection and conversation, it's just going to be so deep and rich. And everyone's going to be able to express themselves nicely. And there's this openness here. There's this just depth of connection that we're going to get here. And Mercury just makes the conversations really smooth and clear and open. And there's going to be more vulnerability here. So, of course, make sure that they are safe persons that you are doing this with. Okay, now let's just quickly take a look at Mars and Uranus. We mentioned this on last week's forecast, and it still applies this week. And Mars does represent our passions and our desires and our ambition and our willpower. And in this Earth sign, that is, more stable, predictable, consistent, shows up every single day. There is this consistency of effort into the things that we care about and the things that we desire, that are goals that we're shooting for. So this is going to be here for a bit. This is going to be here until, well, the Mars is. Mars will be here in Taurus until July 20th of this year. So we have another month and some change to take advantage of this like consistent effort, especially for those of us who kind of start things and stop. But we have this beautiful energy here of just consistently devoting and putting time in and putting effort in to create that real change, that real transformation, as Uranus provides here. Real evolution of like our next level of our being that we're aiming for here. Okay. All right. So other energies I wanted to point out, we have Pluto that is at a trine with Jupiter and Uranus. We've had this last week. We'll probably have this for a little bit as well. And this is just reiterating that really like intense big growth. Like we're not doing little changes in this season in our lives. This is like the reinvention, like a whole new self, right? A whole new being. And I mentioned this in last week's forecast. So this power is here. If you have been wanting to change your whole like identity in a sense, like, oh, I am a person who does this and this and that versus, I used to be a person who does this and that. Like this is the season. This is the time to choose how you want to radically shift yourself, radically transform yourself, because you have so many like points of support in this time to ensure that it actually does happen. This isn't just like talking about it. This is you're transforming about it. You're absolutely doing about it. So definitely take advantage of that. Okay, so we also have Moon in a trine to Venus and Mercury. So that's really nice. Moon is also about our those emotional connections and emotional bonds and being able to reflect and to listen and to be nurturing as well. So it's only adding to this beautiful, like, relating to one another and sharing of each other's lives. So again, be social, connect, make time for your friends and family. Don't only focus on work. Yes, we have this incredible Mars energy here to support us in our work, but it can't be the only thing. And you'll see that Moon is even in opposition to Mars, right? The Moon is going to be more like relaxing and reflecting and connecting. And then Mars is like the drive, go, do it. And so when they're in opposition like this, it's a balance. It's like you need to make time for that rest and reflection and connection and just play and things like that, but also make time to initiate and to do and to get things done. So it's a balance. It's like a seesaw between these two modes here. Okay, so let's go ahead and transition onto Tuesday, which is June 18th. And here we have a lot of similarities as Monday. Things don't shift that fast other than the moon. But we do have one little change that I'm going to point out is that the moon is in opposition to Uranus. The moon likes comfort and security, and then Uranus likes radical sudden changes that just totally like transform everything and kind of it's not the comfort security planet, let's say that. It is intense, sudden surprises, things that are unexpected. So there may be some of that happening, like surprises that you weren't planning, that you had no way of being able to predict. So if something shakes things up that day, it's because you have this opposition going on between Moon and Uranus. You may just need some stimulation, maybe like the everyday, you might be getting bored. So you just need some like little shake it up kind of experience. So maybe a different environment, a different location, a different activity will be really nice for you here on June 18th, which is Tuesday. Okay, next, let's go on to Wednesday, which is June 19th. And we have a shift happening. If you take a look at Moon has been in Scorpio, as I mentioned earlier. Now it has moved into Sagittarius, which is a really nice placement. This is a very sparkly placement. There's a bit more brightness, there's a bit more adventure. This is where you really are going to want to do new stuff. You want a change of scenery, you want some adventure, you want some maybe a little travel, some freedom. Like you don't want to feel trapped here while Moon is in Sagittarius, and Moon's going to be in Sagittarius for a couple of days. So go ahead and like venture out and have a new experience, even within your own city, within your own neighborhood. Maybe go try like a hike you haven't been to before, a trail that you haven't tried before. Go try a new restaurant that you've been meaning to experience and never got to. Or hang out with just new people. Go hang out with some new people, different people, something like that. But it likes novelty. So Sagittarius likes novelty. So give yourself that gift of something different. Okay. All right. So another thing to consider, and Moon is also in opposition with Jupiter. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So you're just getting a lot of this influence of you need adventure, you need some travel, you need some new experiences, you need some fun, which is, really perfect, especially during the summertime where the weather is a little bit easier to go do more fun things outside. Okay, so we have that one. I did want to point out one aspect that I really love, and an aspect is basically how two planets communicate with each other, and they can communicate in a way that's like kind of in conflict, or they can communicate in a way that is, they're just like in unison, they're in harmony, and they're giving each other gifts. So, what I love about Wednesday is that we have Mars sextile Mercury. So here's Mars over here, this red, circle with the triangle with an arrow here. And then you'll see there's a blue line. It kind of looks like a star in the middle of it, a blue line going over to Mercury. It's also going over to Venus too, but Mercury, this one brings such a great level of mental focus and decisiveness and just being able to really deep dive with your mind. So if you have anything, like I'm currently writing a book, so this this is very beneficial for me. So it helps me to really dive into, the storytelling, the explanations, all of that, and just be very present, go 3 hours nonstop writing, just to give you an idea. But, like learning too, if you're trying to learn a new subject, for example, or you're reading a book, or you just got into something and you really need to use your mind, your mental powers, your mental focus. And we have this influence, I believe, yep, all the way into Sunday. So from like Wednesday to Sunday with this Mars sextiling Mercury, we have the ability to really get a lot done that takes mental power, that takes mental effort. So if you need to focus and do deep work, ooh, this is like the sweet time for that. I'm super nerdy because I care about those things. Okay. Anyways, all right. So then let's go on to Thursday. So Thursday is the 20th, and we have another change here, a pretty major change. Now, our moon is still staying in that Sagittarius adventure, travel, freedom, new experiences kind of feel. But then we have our sun that just transitioned out of Gemini and into Cancer. So keep that in mind. Thursday is when we're going to have a pretty big change in our MO here. And Cancer is a water sign. And this is a very nurturing sign. I've mentioned that from Venus and Mercury being in here. So this is about like deepening our bonds, our emotional connection, and being around the people that we care about, that we love, and serving them and taking care of them and nurturing them, and vice versa. Allow yourself to be nurtured, allow yourself to receive. And this is a really great space for you to take time to do what you need to do to fill your cup, to do that self-care, and just take time for you. Like this is it'll if those of you who've struggled to do that, who are regularly only serving others, which is a Cancer thing, but this will help us to also serve ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to find our safe places and spaces. Cancer loves to kind of hunker down and hermit out sometimes too, because it's so sensitive. It needs that space of comfort and security and protection. So make your home, make your space just really like delightful for you. You've got Venus here, beautify your spaces. Like this is a time to make your world delicious. Make your environments yummy, and where you can just really sink in and relax and enjoy and indulge in the pleasures. Just do be careful a little bit with some indulgences, because with all of this like moon in in Sagittarius, and you've got all of the Venus and the sun together in Cancer, like we might indulge just a little bit too much. All right. So just be conscientious of that. There is another thing we do need to keep track of here. We've got moon square Saturn. So square is when here's the moon and here's Saturn. It looks like the H with the line above it. And you'll see there's a red line with a square. And so that is the aspect that's happening here. So here, Saturn sometimes brings feeling of loneliness and just feeling down. So if you have that sensation on Thursday, just know that it will pass. So it's okay. It's just if you feel a little bit disconnected, a little out of touch with others too, or just really just hermiting out, then it's not surprising with this kind of relationship that's happening between Moon and Saturn here. Okay. All right. So we still have, remember, that incredible deep focus available to us with that Mars sextile Mercury. Now let's go into Friday, which is June 22nd. Here we have the moon in opposition to Sun and Venus. So you may have like a lot of energy to do a lot more. You might want to do a lot more. You might want to create more harmony within your community, within your relationships. So this is another space where you just want to also be careful not to overindulge. Just don't overindulge because there's going to be a lot more expansion and wanting more. All right. And then we have on Saturday, June 22nd, our moon changes. So we basically, within a week's time, we've had our moon go into three different signs, three different feels, okay, three different emotions. So our moon goes into Capricorn down here, and Capricorn is an earth sign. So this is where we're going to feel a little bit more stable, a little bit more grounded. Little bit more steady. So if you felt the intensities and just a lot of activity with your emotions in the last couple of signs between Scorpio and Sagittarius, that you're going to now ease into some calmness, some steadiness here. Okay. We do have this moon in opposition with Mercury. So maybe a little bit of like conflict between what you're thinking and what you're feeling. So you don't need to make major decisions on this day, but just settle into that Capricorn. We do have Moon trine Mars. So this is Moon with this blue line to this Mars planet. And this is going to help you to feel actually a bit more confident in yourself and feeling more solid in yourself and just standing your ground, being a leader of your life. So I really like the changing tides here of the moon as moon goes into Capricorn. All right. And we still have that deep mental focus. All right. So we have that beautiful energy with that Mars trining Mercury. And then lastly, on Sunday, let's take a look at Sunday. So on Sunday, so as you can see, I'm focusing on the moon because the moon is just doing a lot of movements and a lot of changes. And then when the moon moves, before the moon was over here in Scorpio, when the moon moves, then all of these aspects, all it changes the way it interacts with all of the other planets. So I'm hoping you are seeing how why it's not hard to feel so many different feelings from day to day to day to day. Okay. So Moon is trining the planet Uranus, which is going to bring some excitement. Okay. Here you're probably going to want to do something a little fun on Sunday. Go out, do something different, shock yourself. I'll give you an example. I went to a water park yesterday and I went with obviously my kids and their friends and the moms of the friends. And we do the usual stuff. It's an indoor water park, but they have these slides. They have drop slides. They have like the one that you just kind of like drop really far down fast, the one where they take the floor out from underneath you. I haven't done that stuff in years and years. And so there was another mom who was just like, Desiree, come on, let's just do it. It's so fun. And my older boys, they're 13 and 11, and they're just like, Mom, let's do it. It's going to be fun. I am so not that person. I don't do things like that. And so it was such a sudden thing. And I went, did the drop slide, and it was exhilarating. Normally, I'm more freaked out, but I actually enjoyed myself, and I did it a total of 3 times. I thought it was so fun. So it was a nice surprise. So, basically on Sunday, allow some, nice surprise like that to happen. And I had a great bonding moment with my kids. So that was really like the best part. All right. So we have Neptune and Moon in a in a sextile to continue that conversation. So you see this pitchforky looking thing, that's Neptune. And now they are communicating, and Neptune is deeply spiritual, so creative, so imaginative. So if you're feeling a little bit of, a surge of creativity, or just feeling deeply connected spiritually, it's because of the way that Moon is interacting here with Neptune. Okay. And then, last thing I want to mention is that Saturn over here is also trining Mercury. Saturn is trining Mercury. So Saturn has this blue line with a triangle all the way up to Mercury. So you're going to have this discipline. We talked about that incredible mental focus, that mental power that we have, but then now we have another layer, this extra layer of discipline, and hard work and diligent, like just diligently doing what you need to do, saying what you need to say. And I love, like, with Saturn influencing Mercury in this way, you're going to be very specific about how you say things. You're going to be very particular. You're not just going to say anything. Your words are going to be more sharp. They're going to be sharper. They're going to be more penetrating. They're going to be clear, very defined. So people will understand you as you are expressing yourself and as you are sharing of yourself. So I love the little boost in great communication that Saturn has to offer with Mercury here. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me during this forecast. And I make sure to like and subscribe so that you get notifications. Oh, hit that bell so you get notifications when we put up a new forecast. My goal is to put a new one up every week. So I am testing this out, see if you all like this, if this is beneficial to you, if this is valuable for you. I will in the future incorporate some essential oils. Actually, you know what? I got an essential oil for you. Let's go ahead. Let's do, since the moon, as I mentioned, is shifting so much, I really like petitgrain, juniperberry, and wild orange. So you can pop those 3 essential oils in the diffuser. Do about 2 drops each all the way across, okay? Petitgrain, juniperberry, and wild orange. And this will help you to just really like harmonize with the moon and allow the moon to support you and allow the moon to just kind of guide you and lead you in where you want to be and where you need to be, where you need to go. And when we allow, oh, our emotions can go through all of those shifts. However, there isn't that friction and there isn't that fight, and you will be surprised at the benefits that you receive by working with the moon and interacting with the moon, just like when I went down those crazy drop slides. But all right, well, thank you again. And if you check down the link below, if you enjoy this kind of content, I recommend joining our Rise and Thrive community. We provide customized blends that support you during current energetic conditions that all of us empaths are dealing with. And as you can see from week to week, from month to month, like it'll be different variations. And we want to strengthen you and support you with the tools, with the blends, with the essential oils that you need. And you can only get that in Rise and Thrive. So it's incredibly customized for all of us empaths to help us to thrive and do well, even though we are very emotional beings in a highly energetically intense world. It is very possible to live in a healthy way and to know how to work with our emotions that help us to grow and to evolve and benefit us, rather than thinking that these difficult emotions are a means to just break us down and tear us down. So we are here to uplift you, support you, and get you all the right tools that you need to make it easier. So thank you again, and we will see you in the next forecast.